The year was 2150, and Earth had changed a lot. Flying cars zoomed through the sky, and robots helped people with their daily tasks. But even with all this new technology, humans still love to dig up old things and learn about the past. This is where Dr. Amelia Chen came in. Dr. Chen was a xenorchaeologist. That's a fancy word for someone who studies alien artifacts. She was the best in her field, known for her quick thinking and sharp eyes. One day, she got a call about a strange object found in a desert. Without wasting any time, she packed her bags and flew to the site. When she arrived, she saw a group of excited scientists standing around a hole in the ground. They waved her over, their faces lit up with excitement. As she got closer, she saw something shiny in the hole. It was unlike anything she had ever seen before. The object was small, about the size of a basketball, but it glowed with a soft blue light. It had strange symbols all over it that no one could understand. Dr. Chen carefully picked it up, feeling its smooth surface. As soon as she touched it, the object started to hum. Suddenly, a hologram appeared above the artifact. Everyone gasped in surprise. The hologram showed strange alien creatures. They looked sad and scared. Then, to everyone's shock, the alien started to speak in perfect English. "People of Earth," the alien said, its voice filled with desperation. "We need your help. Long ago, your ancestors made a promise to us. They said they would come to our aid if we ever faced great danger. Now, that time has come. Our world is dying, and we cannot save it alone. Please, honor the promise of your ancestors. Help us." The message ended, and the hologram disappeared. Everyone stood in silence, trying to process what they had just seen and heard. Dr. Chen's mind was racing. A promise made by their ancestors. A dying alien race. It seemed impossible, yet the proof was right there in her hands. Word of the discovery spread quickly. Soon, the whole world was talking about it. Some people were excited about the idea of helping an alien race. Others were scared, worried that it might be a trap. Everyone had an opinion. The United Earth government called for a global debate. Leaders from every country came together to discuss what to do. Scientists studied the artifact day and night, trying to learn more about the aliens and their world. Dr. Chen found herself at the center of it all. She was invited to speak at the global meeting. Standing in front of the world's leaders, she felt nervous but determined. She knew that this could be the most important moment in human history. "We have a choice to make," she said, her voice strong and clear. "We can ignore this call for help and go on with our lives, or we can take a leap into the unknown, honor an ancient promise, and potentially save an entire civilization. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's risky. But isn't this what humanity is all about? Exploring, discovering, and helping others." Her words touched many hearts. Debates continued for weeks. People argued about the risks, the costs, and the potential benefits. Some worried about the dangers of space travel. Others were excited about the chance to meet aliens. As the discussions went on, more and more people started to support the idea of helping the aliens. They saw it as a chance to show the best of humanity, to prove that humans could be kind, brave, and true to their word, even across the vastness of space. Finally, after months of debate, the United Earth government made its decision. They would honor the promise. They would build a spaceship and send humans across the galaxy to help the dying alien race. When the decision was announced, cheers erupted around the world. People hugged each other in the streets, crying tears of joy and excitement. It was a new era for humanity, a chance to reach for the stars and make a difference on a cosmic scale. Dr. Chen stood in her lab, holding the alien artifact. She looked at it with a mix of wonder and determination. "We're coming," she whispered to the object, as if the aliens could hear her. "We'll keep the promise. Humanity is on its way." And so began the greatest adventure in human history, the journey across the galaxy to honor a promise made long ago. It would be dangerous. It would be difficult, but it would also be the most incredible thing humans had ever done. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Humanity was ready to take its place among the stars. The world was buzzing with excitement. Humans were going to space, not just to the moon or Mars, but to a whole other galaxy. It was a big job, and everyone knew it would take a lot of work. The United Earth government called it Project Starbridge. The first thing they did was bring together the smartest people from all over the world. Scientists, engineers, doctors, and even farmers and teachers were called to help. They all had different jobs to do, but they all had the same goal: to build a spaceship that could travel across the galaxy. Dr. Amelia Chen, the xenorchaeologist who found the alien artifact, was put in charge of understanding alien technology. She worked day and night, studying the strange symbols on the artifact. Slowly, she began to understand some of the alien science. It was like learning a new language, but instead of words, she was learning about advanced physics and engineering. Meanwhile, in a huge factory near the ocean, workers started building the spaceship. They called it Prometheus, after the Greek god who gave fire to humans. The ship was massive, bigger than anything humans had ever built before. It had to be big enough to carry thousands of people and all the things they would need for a long journey. But building a big ship wasn't enough. The scientists knew they needed new technology to travel so far. They worked on three main things: faster than light, FTL, travel, cryostasis, and advanced air. The FTL drive was the hardest part. How could they make a ship go faster than light? It seemed impossible. But then, a young scientist named Raj Patel had an idea. He thought about folding space like a piece of paper, making faraway places come close together. It was a crazy idea, but it worked. The first FTL test flight sent a small probe to Mars and back in just a few minutes. For cryostasis, they turned to Dr. Sarah Mbeki, an expert in sleep science. She figured out how to put people into a deep, cold sleep that would keep them young during the long journey. They tested it on volunteers, who slept for a whole year and woke up feeling like it was just one night. The AI system was designed by a team led by Professor Chen Wei. They created an artificial intelligence smarter than any computer before. They named it AI, Advanced Responsive Intelligence Assistant. AI could think and make decisions like a human, but much faster. It would control the ship while the humans slept. As the work continued, more and more people wanted to join the mission. Millions of people from all over the world applied to be part of the crew. The government had to choose carefully. They picked people with different skills: pilots, doctors, engineers, and even artists and musicians. They wanted to show the aliens the best of human culture. Training for the chosen crew was tough. They had to learn how to live in space, how to use the new technology, and how to deal with any problems that might come up. They trained in giant pools to feel what it's like in zero gravity. They lived in small rooms for months to get used to tight spaces. They even learned alien languages, just in case. While all this was happening, Earth was changing too. Countries that used to fight each other now worked together. People shared their knowledge and resources. Everyone wanted the mission to succeed. But not everything was easy. Some people were scared. They worried about what might happen if things went wrong, or if the aliens turned out to be dangerous. There were protests and arguments. But in the end, most people supported the mission. They saw it as a chance for humanity to do something great. As the day of launch got closer, excitement grew. The Prometheus was almost ready. It shone in the sunlight, a symbol of human hope and bravery. Inside, the crew made final checks. They packed seeds to grow food, books full of human knowledge, and even some art and music to share with the aliens. Dr. Chen stood at the base of the massive ship, looking up at its gleaming surface. She held the alien artifact in her hands, the object that had started this whole adventure. "We're almost ready," she whispered to it. "We're coming to help, just like we promised." The whole world watched and waited. In just a few days, the greatest journey in human history would begin. Humanity was about to take its first real step into the stars, driven by a promise made long ago and the hope of a better future for all. The big day had finally arrived. The sun was just starting to rise, painting the sky in beautiful shades of orange and pink. But today, all eyes were on something even more amazing than the sunrise. The spaceship Prometheus stood tall and proud, ready for its historic journey. Millions of people had gathered to watch the launch. They filled the beaches, stood on rooftops, and crowded into city squares where giant screens had been set up. The whole world was holding its breath, waiting for the moment when humanity would take its first real step into the stars. At the launch site, the crew of 10,000 brave men and women were saying their final goodbyes. There were tears and hugs, laughter and promises. Parents hugged their children tightly, knowing they might never see them again. Friends made pinky promises to reunite someday somehow. It was a mix of excitement and sadness, hope and fear. Dr. Amelia Chen, now the mission's chief scientist, stood at the foot of the massive ship. She held the alien artifact in her hands, the small object that had started this whole adventure. "We're keeping our promise," she whispered to it. Then, with a deep breath, she walked up the ramp and into the ship. Inside Prometheus, things were busy. The crew checked and double-checked everything. Pilots ran through their pre-flight checklists. Engineers monitored all the systems. Doctors made sure the cryosleep pods were ready. Everyone had a job to do, and they did it with focus and determination. Captain Maria Rodriguez, a veteran astronaut chosen to lead the mission, stood on the bridge. She looked at her crew, a mix of people from all over Earth. "Remember why we're here," she said, her voice strong and clear. "We're not just exploring. We're going to help. We're going to show the universe the best of humanity." As the launch countdown began, a hush fell over the world. 10, 9, 8. People held hands, said prayers, crossed their fingers. 7, 6, 5. Inside the ship, the crew strapped themselves in, hearts pounding with excitement. 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. With a roar that shook the earth, Prometheus rose into the sky. Flames burst from its engines, pushing against gravity with incredible force. Slowly at first, then faster and faster, the ship climbed higher and higher. People cheered and cried, hugged and danced. It was really happening. As Prometheus broke through the clouds, the crew felt the push of acceleration. Some laughed with joy, others closed their eyes and held on tight. They were making history with every second that passed. Soon, the blue sky turned to black. The curve of the earth appeared below them, a beautiful blue and white marble floating in space. For a moment, everyone was quiet, awed by the sight of their home planet. But there was no time to waste. As soon as they were in orbit, the crew got to work. They had to prepare for the long journey ahead. Scientists double-checked their equipment. Farmers made sure their seeds were safely stored. Artists carefully packed away the pieces of human culture they were bringing to share with the aliens. Then came the hardest part. It was time for most of the crew to enter cryosleep. They would sleep for most of the journey, waking up only when they reached their destination. One by one, they said goodbye to their awake crewmates and climbed into the cryopods. Dr. Chen was one of the last to go into cryosleep. She took one last look at the alien artifact, now safely stored in a special container. "See you on the other side," she said with a smile, before closing her eyes and letting the cold sleep take over. With most of the crew asleep, it was time for the final stage of the launch. Captain Rodriguez sat at the main control panel with a small team of awake crew members around her. She took a deep breath and placed her hand on the lever that would activate the faster-than-light drive. "RIA," she said to the ship's eye. "Are we ready for FTL jump?" "All systems are go, Captain," RIA's calm voice replied. "FTL drive is charged and ready." Captain Rodriguez looked at her team. They nodded, ready for whatever came next. She gripped the lever tightly, "For Earth, for our ancestors, and for the promise we made," she said. Then she pulled the lever. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then suddenly, the stars outside the window began to stretch into lines of light. There was a feeling of movement, like the whole universe was bending around them. And then, in a flash, Earth and its solar system disappeared. Prometheus had begun its journey across the galaxy. Carrying the hopes and dreams of all humanity, it raced towards its destination, 100 light-years away. The greatest adventure in human history had truly begun. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The Prometheus sailed through the vastness of space, carrying its precious cargo of sleeping humans. While most of the crew slept in their cryopods, a small team stayed awake, working in shifts to keep the ship running smoothly. Captain Maria Rodriguez sat in her chair on the bridge, staring at the strange stars outside the window. They were so far from home now that even the constellations looked different. Suddenly, a red light started flashing on her control panel. "Arai," she called out to the ship's eye. "What's happening?" Arai's calm voice filled the room. "Captain, I'm detecting an unknown object approaching our position. It appears to be a spacecraft of alien origin." The captain's heart raced. This was it, their first contact with alien life. She quickly woke up Dr. Chen and the other key crew members from their cryosleep. As they gathered on the bridge, rubbing sleep from their eyes, a massive ship appeared in front of them. It was beautiful, shaped like a giant silver leaf. Lights danced across its surface in mesmerizing patterns. For a moment, everyone held their breath, waiting to see what would happen next. Suddenly, a voice crackled through their communication system. It spoke in a language no one understood, but it sounded friendly. Araya quickly translated. "Greetings, travelers. We are the Zephyrians. Welcome to our part of the galaxy." The humans cheered. Their first alien encounter, and it was a peaceful one. The Zephyrians invited them to dock at their space station. As they approached, they saw it was a bustling hub of activity, with ships of all shapes and sizes coming and going. But not all their encounters were so friendly. A few weeks later, they ran into the Krell, a warlike species that didn't like strangers in their territory. The Krell ships were angular and menacing, bristling with weapons. They demanded that Prometheus turn back or be destroyed. Captain Rodriguez knew they couldn't fight their way out. The Prometheus wasn't a warship. Instead, she had an idea. She asked Dr. Chen to show the Krell the alien artifact and explain their mission. As the Krell learned about the ancient promise and the dying alien race, something changed in their attitude. They were warriors, yes, but they respected honor and keeping one's word. To everyone's surprise, the Krell offered to escort Prometheus safely through their territory. The journey wasn't just about meeting aliens, though. The vastness of space itself presented challenges. One day, Araya detected a massive cloud of cosmic dust in their path. It was too big to go around, and flying through it could damage the ship's engines. The engineering team, led by Raj Patel, worked day and night to find a solution. Finally, Raj had an idea. They could use the ship's force fields to create a kind of bubble around Prometheus, letting them slip through the dust cloud safely. It was risky, but it worked. Another time, they encountered a strange anomaly in space, a swirling vortex of energy that pulled everything towards it. It was beautiful but deadly. The ship's sensors went crazy, and for a moment, it looked like they might be pulled in. That's when Lai Ming, their expert pilot, showed why she was the best. With incredible skill, she navigated the ship around the edge of the vortex, using its own energy to slingshot Prometheus to safety. Everyone cheered as they zoomed away, the vortex shrinking behind them. But the biggest challenge came when they were about halfway to their destination. The ship's food production systems started to fail. Plants in the hydroponic gardens were dying, and food supplies were running low. If they couldn't fix it, the entire crew would starve before reaching the aliens they had promised to help. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, their chief biologist, discovered that a strange space bacteria had infected the plants. It was like nothing they had ever seen before. Working with Dr. Chen, who used knowledge from the alien artifact, they created a cure. It was a close call, but they saved the food supply just in time. Through all these challenges, the crew of Prometheus learned important lessons. They learned to be creative, to work together, and to never give up. Sometimes, crew members had to make big sacrifices to keep the mission going. Like when engineer Carlos Mendez volunteered to go outside the ship to fix a broken antenna. It was dangerous work, and he knew he might not make it back. But thanks to his bravery, they could keep communicating with Earth and the aliens they met. As they faced each new challenge, the humans proved again and again why they were chosen for this mission. They were brave, smart, and determined. No matter what the galaxy threw at them, they found a way to keep going. The promise they made to the dying alien race kept them strong. Every light year they traveled, every obstacle they overcame, brought them closer to their goal. And as they journeyed on, they knew that the greatest challenges and the greatest adventures were still to come. After 75 long years of travel through the vastness of space, the day finally arrived. The Prometheus approached its destination, a distant galaxy where the dying alien race awaited their help. Excitement filled the air as the crew members were slowly woken from their cryosleep. Captain Maria Rodriguez stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the view screen. A beautiful blue-green planet came into view, surrounded by 3 moons of different colors. "Araya," she called to the ship's eye. "Are you detecting any signs of life?" "Affirmative, Captain," Araya replied. "I'm picking up multiple signals from the planet's surface. It appears to be a technologically advanced civilization." Dr. Amelia Chen rushed onto the bridge, her eyes wide with wonder. "We made it," she whispered, clutching the alien artifact that had started their journey so long ago. "We kept our promise." As they entered the planet's orbit, a transmission came through. Strange symbols flashed on the screen, then transformed into words everyone could understand. "Greetings, humans of Earth," a voice said. "We have awaited your arrival for generations. Welcome to Lumina." The crew cheered, hugging each other with joy and relief. They had made it, but their celebration was short-lived as they received more information about the situation on Lumina. The Luminians, as they called themselves, were indeed still alive. But their condition was critical. Their planet's core was cooling, causing widespread environmental changes. Crops were failing, and strange illnesses were spreading among the population. "We need to act fast," Captain Rodriguez said. She turned to her crew. "Dr. Chen, take a team and study the artifact. See if it contains any information that could help us. Dr. Tanaka, you and your biology team start analyzing the planet's ecosystem. Engineer Patel, I need you to look at their technology and see how we can help improve it." The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. The humans, despite their long journey, worked tirelessly to help the Luminians. They used their advanced technology to analyze the planet's core, study the strange illnesses, and improve crop yields. Dr. Chen made a breakthrough when she finally deciphered the last part of the alien artifact. It contained instructions for a device that could rejuvenate the planet's core. With the help of Luminian scientists, they began to build it. Meanwhile, Dr. Tanaka and her team discovered that the illnesses affecting the Luminians were caused by imbalance in their planet's atmosphere. Using earth plants they had brought with them, they started a massive reforestation project to help clean the air. Engineer Patel worked with Luminian engineers to upgrade their technology. They focused on creating better water purification systems and more efficient energy sources. The Luminians were quick learners, and soon they were working side by side with the humans as equals. But it wasn't all work. As the two species spent time together, they began to learn from each other. The humans were amazed by Luminian art, which used light and sound in ways they had never imagined. The Luminians, in turn, were fascinated by human music and literature. One evening, as the humans shared stories of Earth around a campfire, a group of Luminian children approached them. One of them, a small creature with glowing blue skin, spoke up. "Can you tell us about the sky on your world?" it asked shyly. Dr. Chen smiled and began to describe Earth's blue skies, fluffy white clouds, and beautiful sunsets. The Luminian children listened with wide eyes, trying to imagine a world so different from their own. As the days passed, the effects of their hard work began to show. The planet's core started to stabilize, crops began to flourish, and the strange illnesses became less common. The Luminians, who had been weak and desperate when the humans arrived, regained their strength and hope. One day, the leader of the Luminians called for a great gathering. Humans and Luminians alike assembled in a grand crystal hall. The leader, a tall being with shimmering silver skin, addressed the crowd. "Friends from Earth," the leader said, its voice filled with emotion. "Generations ago, your ancestors made a promise to help us in our time of need. Today, you have fulfilled that promise beyond our wildest dreams. You have saved not just our lives, but our entire world. We can never thank you enough." Captain Rodriguez stepped forward. "We are honored to have been able to help," she said. "But this is not the end. We hope this is just the beginning of a long friendship between our peoples." The hall erupted in cheers and applause. Humans and Luminians embraced, no longer two separate species, but friends united by a promise kept in a future filled with hope. As the celebration continued, Dr. Chen stood by a window, looking out at the now thriving planet. She held the alien artifact in her hands, the object that had started it all. "We did it," she whispered to herself. "We honored the promise and made new friends along the way. This is just the beginning of humanity's greatest adventure." Just when everyone thought the mission was a complete success, something unexpected happened. It was a quiet evening on Lumina, and Dr. Chen was studying the alien artifact one last time before it was to be placed in a museum. Suddenly, the artifact began to glow with an eerie light. "Captain Rodriguez," Dr. Chen called out urgently. "Something's happening with the artifact." As the captain rushed into the room, the artifact floated into the air, spinning faster and faster. Strange symbols appeared in the air around it, glowing with the same eerie light. Suddenly, the eldest Luminian, a wise being named Zor, burst into the room. "No," Zor cried out. "It's the ancient curse. We thought it was just a legend, but it's real." Everyone turned to Zor in shock. "What curse?" Captain Rodriguez asked, her voice filled with concern. Zor explained that long ago, their ancestors had done something terrible. They had stolen powerful knowledge from another alien race. That race had cursed them, saying that their world would slowly die unless they learned to be kind and helpful to others. The curse was the real reason their planet had been dying. "But we broke the curse by helping you, didn't we?" Dr. Tanaka asked, confused. Zor shook his head sadly. "The curse wasn't just on us. It passes to anyone who helps us. Now it's affecting you humans too." As if to confirm Zor's words, alarms began to blare throughout the Prometheus. Araya's voice came over the speakers. "Alert. Multiple systems failing. Unknown energy detected throughout the ship." Captain Rodriguez rushed to the ship, Dr. Chen and several Luminians following close behind. When they got there, they found chaos. Machines were breaking down, and some crew members were getting sick. "It's just like what happened to our world," one of the Luminians said, fear in their voice. For a moment, everyone was silent, the weight of the situation sinking in. Then Captain Rodriguez stood up straight, determination in her eyes. "We've faced challenges before," she said firmly. "We'll face this one too." Humans and Luminians together. They quickly formed teams. Dr. Chen and Zor worked on understanding the curse using the artifact and ancient Luminian texts. Dr. Tanaka and her team tried to find a medical solution for the sickness. Engineer Patul worked on keeping the ship's systems running. Days passed, and things got worse. More people got sick, and parts of Lumina started to show signs of the curse too. But nobody gave up. Humans and Luminians worked side by side, determined to find a solution. Finally, after many sleepless nights, Dr. Chen made a breakthrough. The curse isn't just about punishment, she explained to everyone. It's a test. It's testing if we can work together, if we can be kind and helpful even when things are hard. So what do we do? Someone asked. We need to prove that we can be kind and helpful, not just to each other, but to the whole galaxy, Dr. Chen said. And so, they came up with a daring plan. They would use the last of the Prometheus' power to send a message of peace and friendship to every corner of the galaxy. They would offer their help to any civilization that needed it, asking nothing in return. It was risky. Using so much power might destroy the ship, and they didn't know if it would break the curse, but everyone agreed it was worth trying. As they prepared the message, something amazing happened. The sick people started to feel better. The broken machines began to repair themselves. It seemed the curse was already weakening just from their decision to help others. Finally, everything was ready. Captain Rodriguez stood before the communication array. Humans and Luminians gathered around her. She took a deep breath and pressed the button to send the message. A burst of energy shot out from the ship, carrying their message of friendship to the stars. For a moment, everything was quiet. Then the artifact began to glow again, but this time with a warm golden light. The curse was broken. Cheers erupted from everyone. Humans and Luminians hugged each other, crying tears of joy. They had faced the challenge together and come out stronger. As the celebration continued, Dr. Chen looked out at the stars. She realized that this adventure wasn't ending. It was just beginning. They had made a promise to help others in the galaxy, and now they had the chance to fulfill it. The curse had been turned into a blessing. It had taught them the true power of kindness and cooperation. Now, humans and Luminians were ready to explore the galaxy together, spreading hope and help wherever they went. With the curse broken and their mission accomplished, it was time for the humans to think about returning home. But this decision wasn't as simple as they thought it would be. Captain Rodriguez called a meeting with her crew and the Luminian leaders. "We've been away from Earth for 75 years, she said. The world we left behind might be very different now. And we've made such good friends here." She looked at the Luminians with a warm smile. Dr. Chen spoke up, "But we also made a promise to return and share what we've learned. Earth needs to know about the amazing things we've seen and the friends we've made." After much discussion, they came up with a plan. Half of the crew would return to Earth, while the other half would stay on Lumina to continue working with their new alien friends. They would also send messages to Earth, preparing them for the incredible news of alien life and galactic adventures. As they prepared for the journey home, the Luminians surprised them with a gift. They had built a new ship for the humans, one that combined the best of human and Luminian technology. It was faster and more advanced than the Prometheus, and could make the journey back to Earth in just 10 years instead of 75. The day of departure was emotional. Humans who had become close friends now had to say goodbye. There were tears, hugs, and promises to stay in touch. The Luminians held a grand ceremony to thank the humans and wish them a safe journey. As the new ship named Unity took off from Lumina, Captain Rodriguez looked back at the planet that had been their home for the past few months. "Araya," she said to the eye, which had been transferred to the new ship, "set a course for Earth. But let's take the scenic route." And so began their journey home, but it was very different from their first trip through space. This time, instead of rushing to their destination, they took their time, exploring the wonders of the galaxy. They visited the Zephyrians, the friendly aliens they had met on their way to Lumina. The Zephyrians were amazed at how much the humans had accomplished and eager to learn about Lumina. They also stopped by Krell space. The warrior race was surprised to see them again, but welcomed them warmly. The humans shared their story, and the Krell were so impressed by their bravery and honor that they offered to form an alliance. At each stop, the humans shared their message of peace and cooperation. They told the story of the curse and how working together had saved both humans and Luminians. Many alien races were inspired by this tale and pledged to work towards galactic harmony. As they traveled, they also helped where they could. They used their combined human and Luminian knowledge to solve problems on various planets. On one world, they helped stop a deadly virus. On another, they helped end a long-running war. Finally, after 10 years of travel and adventures, Earth came into view. The crew of Unity felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. How much had changed in the 85 years they'd been gone. As they entered Earth's orbit, they were greeted by a fleet of advanced ships. Earth had made great progress while they were away. The welcome they received was beyond anything they had imagined. People all over the world celebrated their return. In the days that followed, Captain Rodriguez and her crew shared their incredible story. They told of their journey across the galaxy, of the friends they made on Lumina, of the curse they broke, and of all the amazing things they had seen. The people of Earth were amazed and inspired. The knowledge brought back by the crew led to huge advancements in technology and medicine. But more importantly, it changed how humans saw their place in the universe. Earth officially joined the galactic community. They started working with other alien races, sharing knowledge and solving problems together. The Unity became a symbol of this new era, regularly traveling between Earth, Lumina, and other friendly worlds. Years later, Dr. Chen, now old but still full of energy, stood before a class of eager young students at the new Galactic Academy. "Remember," she said, holding up the alien artifact that had started it all. "This journey began with a promise made long ago. By keeping that promise, we not only saved a civilization, but also found our place among the stars." She looked out the window at the bustling spaceport, where ships from a dozen alien worlds were docked. "Our adventure taught us that the greatest power in the universe is not advanced technology or mighty weapons. It's kindness, cooperation, and the willingness to help others. That's humanity's true legacy to the galaxy." As the students cheered, a new ship took off, carrying another group of human and alien explorers out into the vast, wonderful universe. The greatest adventure was still ongoing, with no end in sight.